what we have here is we have officials from the Minister of Justice's office. These are the folks that are working alongside this office. And, we just heard testimony from the minister, and to call it appalling would be kind, to be honest with you. As somebody who sat in the status of women for the last 3 years, who has, listened to the stats on women being murdered in broad daylight, including here in Ottawa, just down the road in a park in front of her 2 children where her throat was slit and innocent people had to hold her while she died in their arms in front of her children. And the minister said, we've reformed bail.
We delivered bail reform.
And these people that are committing these crimes are out on bail. It was a very insulting testimony to victims of violence. And so I think it's very pertinent that I move the following motion. It was put on notice on November 26th, and the following motion reads that given the members of Parliament committed to 16 days of action to combat gender-based violence, and that 1 woman or girl is killed every single day in Canada, and that since 2015, sexual assaults have increased 74%, sexual violations against children have increased 118%, kidnapping has increased 10%, harassing communications have increased 86%, and human trafficking has increased 83%. The committee report to the House that Liberal criminal justice policies have failed to protect women, and that the committee undertake a study of no less than 2 meetings during the 16 days of action to combat gender-based violence to hear from survivors of domestic violence, experts, and advocates. And so I'm asking for some retribution, because what the minister said here today in committee was that they've done a tremendous job. He himself has done a tremendous job in combating gender-based violence.
This funding dovetails with a concerted effort from our government to support women and curb sexual assault and gender-based violence.
And so I'm moving this motion to hopefully get the support of every member in this committee to say, okay, let's study this. Let's actually let victims have their voices heard. We had Sergeant Lisa Harris from Newfoundland Constabulary. She testified in Status of Women last week, and she said, the death of Courtney Lake, and it's really important we say victims' names, highlights the tragic consequences that can happen when those accused of intimate partner violence are allowed to remain free on bail with little repercussions for breaching court orders. Her story is one of many that demonstrates the urgent need for stricter bail conditions for those accused of intimate partner violence. Madam Speaker, if we are serious in this Justice Committee, I would urge every member to vote in favour of this study to bring forward the victims who definitely need to have their voices heard, but also to implement the policies that can be made today to stop this insane attack on women and gender-based violence, and especially in our northern regions where we also have an epidemic. Just a couple weeks ago, we had a young woman who was 16 years old who was brutally attacked in broad daylight. And again, her attacker was out on bail. Police in northeastern Ontario respond to over 100 intimate partner violence calls every single week. We have to agree this is the Justice Committee. If people are serious here, we have to do something. And so I will leave it at that, to this motion that I plead with the members of this committee to take this very seriously, because 187 women were killed violently in Canada. That is 1 woman every 2 days. And according to Peel Regional Police, a woman is strangled every single day in this country, and we can do better.
So I would suggest that I move to adjourn debate to allow us the opportunity to consider this further down the road.
Really putting your money where your mouth is, James? Kate will love that answer.
Yeah, well.
She's watching you right now, just so you know.
And she knows how seriously we take this.
Yeah, real serious.
So we have a motion, and I need to call a vote on it.
Yes pour 6, nays contre 5, 5.